Hey everyone, my name is Brian Waters. I'm a full-time captain at LA County Fire Department out here in California, a full-time real estate investor, and the founder of Code 3 Invest Real Estate Community. We are a community that's firefighter run for first responders by first responders, teaching you how to build that generational wealth through investing in out-of-state rental properties. In the next few minutes, I'm going to teach you how you could change your family's trajectory and build generational wealth, all while not working more overtimes, being away from your family, missing out on your kids' games, and definitely not through speculation in the stock market and or crypto. So I'm going to tell you a story of when I was a younger fireman, a younger medic, that really changed my viewpoint on how I wanted to go about my investments. So I was working at a super busy squad, running 20 to 25 calls a day, working 4 days in a row. And at that point, my wife and I had two young twin boys. They were about a year old. I would come home and I was an absolute walking zombie. You guys can kind of relate, I'm sure, those nights that you just have as shift workers. I don't care if you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're a military, police, fire, whatever, or just a busy working professional. I got home and I was a zombie. I was pretty much non-present in the life of my wife and kids. And I remember coming home, and one particular day, I had um, been up all night, and my wife said, "Hey, Brian, would you do me a favor? I have a really important errand to run, and I was wondering if you could watch the boys for an hour." And I was like, "Absolutely." Give her that little bit of a break she needs. So I sat down on the couch. The boys were in the backyard playing with the dirt, and the next thing I remember, my wife is shaking me, and I said, "Babe, I got it." She's like, "No, Brian, I've been gone for an hour. Where are the kids?" My heart sunk. I freaked out. I ran outside, and thank goodness my kids were in the backyard still just playing. It was at that moment that I knew my life had to change. I had to make a better decision for my family. As first responders, what do? We spend our whole entire career, and we're blessed to be able to do this, but to be able to go help other people. Every day we're helping other people. We're solving their problems. But the missing piece for me was I wasn't present at home. I wasn't there for the three most important people in my life. So, I'm a realist. I understand it's very expensive to live where we do. I live in Southern California. We have a very good lifestyle, but it's also expensive. And so for me, I rely on that money, that overtime money, and that extra income that I have to be able to provide a nice life for my family and travel and provide food and clothing and all the nice things that we want to have. But I was sacrificing that by being away from them and missing out on their life. So I had to take a look in my look in the mirror and be accountable for the changes that needed to be made. So what did I do? I kind of looked around and I looked at all the different ways that people make money. There's these millions of ways. You can go down the rabbit holes all over the place. But the common factor that I kept seeing over and over again was real estate. Everyone around me and everyone in my life, everyone that I could tell online or whatever, had created that long term kind of old school money, and it was through investing in real estate. So I was always super interested in it. So I picked up what I call the Little Purple Bible. The Little Purple Bible is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And if you ask most investors, that's the first book that really kicked it off for a lot of people. He talks about buying hard assets, mainly real estate, that are going to give you that quote unquote passive income. Income that could be made without you having to be there, without having to miss the ASO games, without having to come home and fall asleep because you're so tired from working so much, so many extra days. So once I read that, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. The problem was I went down the rabbit hole of YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. There's so many different ways and so much noise. I was getting pulled in multiple directions, from RV parks to flipping houses to buying Airbnbs, all this stuff. And so I got so overwhelmed that I never took action. Almost quit because there was so much stuff around me. So I got very lucky, and I found an online community, a community much like Code 3 Invest. And by the way, we call our community the Crew. Um, and so there was a community online that was buying out-of-state rentals from all over the country. I I invested in my financial IQ. I spent about $25,000 over the course of 3 years just digging into all this information, being around a group of people like-minded that were wanting to do the same things as myself. I learned from them. I learned from my mentor. I went to seminars, everything. I became super passionate about it. And in a 3-year period between the cash flow from my rentals and from, just the rentals kicking off a bunch of money through equity, I was able to triple the amount that I had saved in my retirement stuff. And so I became super, super passionate about it. And, in a 3-year period, I was able to buy 14 rental properties, all with a firefighter salary, nothing special. But I knew that this was the way. It became a repeatable system, and I became so passionate about it that that's why I'm here. My mantra is I'm trying to teach first responders, busy working professionals, share the knowledge that I have, and it's really changed my life, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So that being said, I've put together this course, Code 3 Invest Community, and I teach people one-on-one all the strategies and tactics that I've learned over the multiple years of investing out of state. How to analyze properties, how to find the correct property managers, where to get funding, how to set it up as a business. I open up my black book of the people that I've worked with, the vetted providers, the vetted contractors, and I share that with you. And so if you're interested in that, if you want to be financially free, you want to work less overtimes, you want to get that life back and that work-life balance back with you and your family, please, there's a link below. There's going to be an email in there. And that email is going to send a message to me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to you and we're going to have a conversation. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't work with just anyone. I want to work with action takers. That's why I love the first responder community so much, because I know that every day you go to work and you kick butt and you take action. And, in the background, I actually hear a siren. So my brothers and sisters are out there doing it right now. So that being said, fill that form out. The reason I don't work with everyone is because I have limited spots. I work one-on-one weekly with people to get them the knowledge that they need to make these decisions to get that financial freedom for themselves. So if that's you, and if you're a person that takes action, if you've wanted to learn about real estate investing out of state, fill out that form. And I want to clarify that these properties we're buying are between $150,000 and $200,000. It's not crazy. Your down payments aren't this crazy number. They're all in the states that are very landlord friendly. So fill that out. I'm going to get back to you. Worst case scenario, me and you are going to have an awesome conversation about your finances. If you are a rookie at this, perfect. If you are seasoned investor, perfect. I'm going to meet you where you are. Everything is a very linear course that we're going through. So regardless, you're going to gain a ton of knowledge and make yourself a better investor. It's time for you to take action. It's time for you to finally get control back of your finances. It's time for you to actually get that time back with the precious ones that you love. And so let's get this going. I'm looking forward to it. I'd like to welcome you to the crew sooner than later. So let's get this going. Take care. Bye.